Good evening, friends. We start tonight with the never-ending story out of Flint, Michigan that has captured the attention of the country. Water contamination is now on the minds of every American in light of the developments in Michigan. The states of Alabama, Louisiana, West Virginia, Kentucky, Oklahoma, Indiana, they're all reporting extensive exposure to lead poisoning, in some cases greater than what has been measured in Flint, Michigan. And now many want more reporting on the issue and more regulation, especially at the federal level. So how safe is our water tonight? For more, let's turn to our newsroom and turn to Simone Del Rosario in our newsroom for more on this story. Simone, other states now are reporting some high levels. What does this mean? How did we get to this point?
Well, if there's one thing, Ed, about this disaster in Flint, it's that it's drawing attention to the issue nationwide and causing a lot more people to take a closer look at their drinking water. You mentioned several states where children may have lead poisoning at higher rates than Flint. Here's a look at those counties. At the top, Houston County, Alabama, tested 12 children for lead poisoning in 2014. 7 of them came back positive. I know it's a small sample size, but still, that's 58%. Fact is, though, we still know so little about lead poisoning on a national level, and that's because only half of the country's counties even report lead poisoning data to the CDC. It's actually not required. But lead should be just one of our concerns when it comes to the water we drink. Here's a pretty scary look at the toxins they regularly find in our drinking water. Along with lead, there's arsenic, fluoride, chlorine, mercury, dioxin, which is known to increase chances of cancer, PCBs, DDT and HCP, those are pesticides linked to diabetes and cancer, perchlorate used in rocket fuel and explosives, and MTBE, an additive for gasoline.
You know, Simone, the big question also is infrastructure. We've had a big conversation in this country about no investments. We're talking water treatment plants. Is that conversation going to come up in these states now?
Oh, of course it'll come up in this now, because those toxins that I mentioned, they're not an exhaustive list. They are just a handful. When you talk about water treatment, you ask, how can these toxins even get into the water if they are being treated? Fact is, the U.S. does not require that a lot of these chemicals are actually removed from drinking water. Regulations require that those that are deemed toxic be reduced as much as possible, not removed. And states, if they had the sort of filtration system that would cause them to be removed to the level that would actually remove them from the drinking water, that would cost states a fortune. So you're finding a lot of states that are kind of meeting those bare minimum requirements set forth by federal regulations to be able to meet the standard, but still these toxins slip through. Now, what some scientists are also concerned about is that we do not know much about the low levels and the long-term effects of having low levels of toxins in our water. So even though they meet minimum federal regulations, they don't know what the long-term effects are of these low levels in our drinking water. So it's kind of the same thing, Ed, over and over again. The water's deemed safe until it's not. So
we're seeing a failure of the system in a number of different regions in this country. It's not Flint, it's not just Michigan, it's other parts of the country, which is going to open up a big discussion here in Washington about the power of the Environmental Protection Agency. Simone, thanks so much for joining us tonight.